DeSantis has sent over 250 additional soldiers, as well as aircraft and boats, to try and protect Florida from boats carrying illegal migrants from Haiti into Florida. The country lies just over 800 miles to the south of Florida. Joining me right now is Florida Congressman Greg Steube. He's a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, Weaponization of the Federal Government Select Subcommittee, and a U.S. Army and Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran himself. Great to see you, Congressman. Thanks very much for being here. Assess the threat from Haiti right now.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Mills said it correctly. Every state in Joe Biden's America is a border state, and now Florida's having to react. And thankfully, we have strong governors like Governor DeSantis and Governor Abbott who are standing up and using their state authority under our Constitution to defend our state's borders. If it wasn't for governors like DeSantis and Abbott defending our states and thereby defending our country, we'd have even more wide open border under Joe Biden's regime. It's absolutely atrocious. The national security, #1 national security threat right now is the southern border. Fentanyl coming across in droves and killing Americans. You have known terrorists being apprehended and then released into our countries. Known criminals being apprehended and released into our countries. Murderers, rapists. I don't have to show you and tell you the stories that have happened all across America of American citizens being either killed by illegals or raped by illegals. I just had an individual, a constituent in my district, who was raped by an illegal immigrant about a month ago. It has to stop. Congress should stand against this and use the appropriation process to stop it.
This is unbelievable. And what's the point? Why? Why have such an open border where we have potential terrorists coming in, drugs killing Americans coming in, human trafficking spiking in America as a result of this wide open border? Why? Is it because they really believe that those people are going to become Democrat voters? Because let me tell you, this AG Merrick Garland commentary has really got me scared. You got the Attorney General of the United States the other day in a speech vowing to fight voter ID laws. Really? Why?
Yeah, that's exactly, you're exactly right. And you already have Democratic cities and states that are doing this. New York City allowed illegals to vote. There's cities and states like California trying to allow illegals to vote. Thankfully, there was a Supreme Court opinion that, common sense would dictate is illegal because you should only have citizens of our country voting. But this is 100% their political objective. Allow all these people to come into the country knowing that because they've let them into the country, they're going to vote Democrat. You have cities and states moving in the direction to allow these people to vote. You have absentee ballots. You have the AG, just like you annotated, going against voter ID laws so that you don't know if the people voting are illegal or not. You don't know if these ballots that are harvested, that will be harvested in November, especially in Democratic states, with no voter ID laws and no ability to know who these people are, you're absolutely going to have illegal immigrants in this country voting. That is their political objective. They do not care about the safety and security of the American people. They care about forever being Democrat in the United States, and they can get to that end by allowing illegals to vote for them.
Unbelievable. And I'll tell you this, the now newly installed co-chairman of the RNC, Lara Trump, told me that protecting the vote is now her most important priority. She joined me a week ago. Watch this.
People say, why do we have a fully open southern border? Why is it you are willing to allow fentanyl to pour over and kill 100,000 Americans a year? Why is it you're allowing 169 people on the terror watch list last fiscal year to come over? And I think the only thing people can figure is that the Democrats are bleeding and hemorrhaging voters. They understand that they cannot fool people in this country any longer, so they have to import people. And the only reason you wouldn't want voter ID is if you want people who cannot vote to vote in these elections. It is insane.
Unbelievable. And by the way, we should say, Congressman, roughly 81% of Americans support voter ID. Just putting that out there. According to a poll back in February by Pew Research, along party lines, 95% favor the concept, 69% of Democrats, still a majority, support voter ID. AG Merrick Garland.
Yeah, it's common sense, isn't it? And Laura Trump's exactly right. This is exactly their objective, and they're trying to use the weaponization of the federal government and the Department of Justice to accomplish their political goal by doing that. And so get the justice system involved and say that everybody should have no voter ID laws. Yeah. When the Democrats were in control of the House, they tried to pass their H.R. 1, which would do away with voter laws in every state that had them, like the great state of Florida that I have the honor of representing. We have voter ID laws here, and the Democrats wanted to do away with it in their bill. So that's exactly what they're attempting to do, and they feel like flooding the country with all these illegals will get to their political objective of having more Democratic voters.
All right, let me get your take on the issue of the moment. The House passed that bill forcing TikTok to divest from the Chinese parent company ByteDance or face a ban in the U.S. The CEO of TikTok on Capitol Hill yesterday reacting. Watch this.
There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I intend to clarify it. There's a lot of noise, but I haven't heard, exactly what we have done that's wrong. As you know, it is very disappointing for us that the bill passed in the House of Representatives. We looked at it. This is a banned bill. In this form, if it's passed into law, this is a ban on our app in this country. It's going to impact 170 million Americans who use our app. It's going to impact 7 million small businesses, and I hope their voices are heard.
The lawmakers are saying that this is not a ban, that you're spreading misinformation, sir. This is not a ban.
Congressman, you voted against the TikTok bill. Why? Tell us more.
Yeah, so there's a provision in this bill that allows first of all, we're ceding power to the president and his corrupt and weaponized DOJ. Why would Congress want to do that? Second, they allow attorneys in the DOJ to shut down a private business if they're influenced by a foreign entity. What does that mean? So you're saying that, remember all the Trump-Russia collusion hoax for 2 years? They all said, the Democrats said, the deep state, the FBI said that the Trump campaign colluded and conspired with the Russians, that the Russians had influence over the Trump campaign. So all they have to say is that truth is being, quote unquote, influenced by Russia or the Chinese Communist Party, and then the president, through the DOJ, can shut it down. Why would we give that power to the president? Why would we make it so it's so unclear as to what that means? Subject to foreign influence is a very broad term. Putting my lawyer hat on, it's not defined in the bill, and I think it's very, very problematic. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, we weren't even talking about TikTok, and all of a sudden we have a bill that we're banning TikTok without the ability for members like myself to amend the bill on the floor. If I had the ability to take that paragraph out that says what I just explained, then I probably would have voted for it. But they pushed it out. We pushed it on the floor. No ability for members to amend it. So I've seen Senator Cruz and others in the Senate that are talking about going through the amendatory process. Maybe they can fix those issues with it and send it back to the House, and then I can support it.
Okay, fine. Side issue here. Similar issue, side issue. Do you agree that the United States should not be buying drones from China?
100%.
Okay. Loretta Lynch, the former AG under Barack Obama, apparently, reportedly, is lobbying on behalf of DJI, the Chinese drone company. The Chinese drone company, according to Reuters, is on a list of the Department of Justice's list of military companies in China. She's lobbying that they take that company off that list. Why? Why would we buy drones used for the military from China?
And that's a heck of a lot more of a security threat than TikTok trying to, warp the minds of our children. That should be banned in the United States. And why all of a sudden is the Department of Justice under Biden so focused on TikTok when, as we explained earlier, you have a complete invasion in our southern border? That's affecting the safety and security of the American people. That should be the focus of Congress, is reining in the complete destruction of our border, that 85% of American people support a secure border. So you're absolutely right. The things that are going on in Washington do not make any sense.
I think the American people are so sick and tired of politics getting involved in our national security conversation. We are talking about serious national security risks for America. We're losing the country, some people say. And now we're talking about politics. I mean, you and your colleagues went to Washington to represent the people, not represent politics. And now you have this. The White House says impeachment is over, okay? Declaring the White House that this impeachment inquiry into Biden should be over. They sent a letter to House Speaker Mike Johnson. The White House counsel, Ed Siskel, writes this: "It is obviously time to move on, Mr. Speaker. There is too much important work to be done for the American people to continue wasting their time on this charade." Your thoughts?
Well, good thing White House counsel can't tell the American people and the Speaker of the House and the House itself what we're going to do on impeachment. We've uncovered evidence that Joe Biden himself have gotten payments, that the Biden family got millions of dollars from Ukraine, from the Chinese Communist Party, from Romania. We've shown that through the impeachment inquiry we had, and we voted on that to open up the impeachment inquiry. I think we're walking through that process. I filed an impeachment resolution last year. I would love to be able to vote on the impeachment of Joe Biden for, one, the border and the atrocities that happen there every single day and intentionally violating federal law on the border, but also all of these federal crimes that the Biden family has committed that we now have evidence of.
Congressman, thank you. We'll be watching that. Greg Steube joining us this morning in Florida. We'll be right back.